Hey nerds, coming back at you with a little more Toddomation. So welcome back. This is the second video in the series on how we're going to be using GitHub Codespaces with Containerlab and our Arista cEOS images to create our own labs. So let's get started. We're first going to need an Arista account. And even if you already have an Arista account, you're still going to need to go get that cEOS image. So I want to show you how to do that. And there is a couple of caveats. Well, one, but let me show it to you in the video. So we're going to go to arista.com, whatever language you speak. It's going to default over here to English since mine's English. That's going to pop up. First thing we want to do is go to login. So when you come into login, if you don't have an account, you're going to need to create one. So click on need a user account. And there's a very specific reason why I'm actually showing you this. Because if we go to the registration guide, when you go to create your account, there's a caveat, and this is the caveat that I mentioned before with the email. If you have a yahoo.com or a gmail.com, something that they consider a generic email domain. So your TikTok or something like that, something that's really not a business account, they might not let you use it. Now, here's if somebody already provided you access to an Arista environment, specifically say CVAS, which is the Cloud Vision as a Service website and to manage equipment, or if you have access to CVQ, which is Cloud Vision Connected Universal Edge, you can log into the Arista web portal more than likely with those credentials through especially CVQ or CVAS. So if you have that account, attempt to log in with that. If not, use a business account, maybe your work email or something similar. So the rest of the registration guide is pretty simple. You're going to get an email asking you to verify that email account is actually active. Once you get that, just click on it, and then you'll be able to log in. When you get that, you come back to the login screen, obviously, and I'm going to go ahead and use my Toddomation account that I have. And this is a business account, but you'll see it doesn't have access like a regular business account, which is very, very nice of Arista because they're still going to give you access to the network. So it's going to come back and say, all right, you have an account on the Arista Wi-Fi portal is how mine was created. So it's actually going to have me use the Wi-Fi Launchpad. But even with your new account, it's going to be somewhat similar. So it's going to redirect me, but don't let that confuse you. Actually, I was logged in a little while ago, so it did it. So I put my username and password in, and then it came back, and as you can see, it says, welcome Todd. So now I'm in, and I'm in with my Toddomation.net account. So the first thing that we want to click on is we're going to go to support, and from support, we're going to go to software download. Okay. Now, the very first time you do this, you're actually going to see this page, and it's the Cloud Services Subscription Agreement. You're going to have to go all the way down here. You're going to have to scroll to the bottom, and you will have to hit accept and continue in order for you to actually get to those download pages. Okay. So once you get to the download pages, this is what it'll look like. So let me just go here. We go software download. I'm going to go ahead and accept that because for this account, I hadn't accepted it yet. I'm going to close this tab, just clean up the screen here a little bit for you. And now we're at software download, as you can see right here. So because I don't have an account where I have Arista equipment on it, if you have Arista equipment, this is not the page that you're going to see. Well, it's the page you're going to see, but you have a lot more options. Okay. So I do need to accept the VEOS and cEOS license agreement. And this is important. The repo that I'm going to use for GitHub, the one that you're going to fork here in a little bit, is a public repo. And because it's a public repo, it's not going to let you put your cEOS or your VEOS, which is what you have access to, on that public repo. You're going to have to create a private one if you want to maintain it. But I'm going to show you how to get it there. Don't worry about that. But there are some licensing agreements with this, and they offer this to everybody. They just want to make sure that you're agreeing to their license agreement. So once you do that, okay, you'll see two options here. Unless you have a business account, then you'll see a bunch more. And we have the cEOS lab and the vEOS lab. One is a virtual lab, which is the vEOS lab. The cEOS lab is the containerized. This is the one that's going to allow us to work inside of a Docker. So it can take these images and then create a Docker image and then actually run the EOS platform. The commands are the same between cEOS and vEOS. If you've used the vEOS, if you've tried to say an even G or GNS3, that's where you use the vEOS labs. The cEOS labs is for a containerized system. Obviously, we're going to Containerlab. So we're going to download the cEOS lab. And you'll see there's a lot of options here. One thing that I will tell you, if you're studying for certification exams, the Arista, ACE level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, or, the level 7, which would be the CCIE equivalent, you'll want to start with 4.30. Now, the Arista training folks over there can change these images at any time, but currently it's the 4.30 and it's the 1 franc version right here. So that's the version I'd recommend. If you're doing the Arista labs because, say, you have equipment, whatever version that you're running that equipment on, well, that's the one that you're going to want to use. And once again, these are exactly the same as the actual images on the hardware as far as the software image and the commands go. So for this one, we're going to download this 4.30.1 F or franc or Fox. There's a bunch of different options here, and that's why I'm showing you this. The actual images end in tar. XZ is just the way that it's compressed for quicker downloads. There's 2 image types. There's the cEOS lab and then dash and then the number. And then there's the cEOS 64. You want the 64-bit. The other one is a 32-bit operating system, which works just fine, but that's for older Arista equipment. All of the newer Arista equipment, when you buy it, if you're buying it directly from Arista or a partner, everything is moved to the 64-bit operating system, and that's the image that you actually want to download. Once again, this tar.xz is what we want here. So we're going to go ahead and download this, and you'll see it's not teeny tiny. So if I start looking at my downloads, it's 550 meg, not huge, but not super small, right? I mean, the regular EOS image is much, much larger than that. So that's how to download the image. There's 2 things that you can do after you download the image. If you want to export the image just as a tar, you can, or you can leave it in the zipped or compressed format, I should say. And either one of them, with the shell scripts that I'm going to show you here in a little bit, it will upload just fine to your Codespaces. That way you can use it. So you can unzip it or uncompress it if you would like, or you can just leave it in this particular format. The one thing I am going to tell you is wherever you saved it, probably in your downloads, we're going to have to move that into our local repo, because the next phase of this is actually getting your repo set up and then inside your VS Code. So that's the next video from here. So hope to see you there. Talk to y'all later, nerds. Bye.